Welcome to the EOY Advanced Training for experienced CalPADS users. In this training, we will provide a brief overview of the EOY submissions and go over the EOY changes for this year. So the CSIS training model is designed to be segmented to provide organization of specific topics and concise delivery. And we aim to provide focused trainings with relevant information and instruction. This slide reflects the CalPADS course catalog. In the top, you will see the various subject areas and their respective programs below each. And the first three skill areas contain programs that are prerequisite for the data collection programs, and the EOY Advanced, which is part of the EOY 1 through 4 reporting and certification program, is what you are attending today. Skill building program consisting of courses which are available in self-paced format, and some of you may have already reviewed those courses. As far as our target audience, we expect experienced CalPADS data coordinators to be attending this session. So this session is advanced, is fast-paced, and we will not be discussing a lot of data population requirements in this session. So if you are new to CalPADS, we strongly recommend that you attend the regular EOY reporting and certification trainings, as this session's main focus is really on the changes only. However, you're more than welcome to sit in on this session if you're new. So on this slide are the objectives for this session, and by the end of this training, you folks will be able to identify the changes for this year and important dates and milestones of the EOY submissions, and learn about those system changes and establish a submission strategy that works best for your LEA. And you will be coordinating with other staff in your LEA to ensure everyone is aware of these new changes. So you'll be communicating the changes to those folks if they're not here with you today. And lastly, you would be certifying end of year 1 through 4 on time or before the final submission deadline. And those are our objectives for this session. So in support of the CSIS mission of increasing local capacity, among our LEAs, our trainings have a focus on skill development. And so throughout this training and our other trainings, we will provide information and guidance to help you develop some of the skills that are shown in the bottom on this slide, which includes project management, managing and maintaining your data, coalition building internally within your LEA, and data literacy, becoming familiar with the various resources and whatnot that is available to you to help you with your submissions. So here's the agenda for this training. We will discuss the following. We'll start with an overview, a very brief overview of the EOY submissions, and then discuss the details of this year's EOY changes. And we will take a couple of minutes to review the certification process and go over some common problems. And lastly, wrap up the session with some key points and important reminders for you to take away. So let's talk about key dates first. And here are some key dates that you should be aware of. The reporting period for end-of-year submissions, as you're aware, is the entire span of the academic year, right? So it starts from July 1st of the prior year to June 30th of the current calendar year. And then we have a milestone for your validation errors. The CDE has suggested this milestone of July 11 this year for your EOY data discrepancy and certification fatal errors to be cleared by. So you should have your validation errors down to 0 by this date. And the reason for that is to allow you some time to thoroughly review your reports for accuracy and completeness, right? Because the end of year certification window deadline is July 25th. So try your best to meet that milestone date and clear your errors by that date. And we do have an amendment window deadline of August 8th. So that's the final amendment deadline, which is 1 week earlier than the prior year. And this is to accommodate the earlier deadline for the posting of the California School Dashboard. Please note that this is the final deadline for EOY 3 and 4. Now, your graduation cohort cutoff date will remain August 15th, the same as the prior years, in order that students graduating in the summer may be included in the 2024-2025 four-year adjusted cohort graduation rate. This means that the end-of-year certification deadline and the pull of the data for the ACGR have been decoupled this year. And as a result, there may be a slight difference between the certified counts of graduate and completers and those included in the four-year ACGR. So I also want to mention that from time to time, these dates have changed in the past, and it may this year, but we don't anticipate. However, if it does, those changes will be reflected on CDE's CalPATS calendar page, and this is the URL for that page. And I'm sure if there's a change with the dates, it will also be communicated through Flash and other methods. You do need to prepare for end of year, and in here on this slide, we provide some activities that you need to complete or take note of, both on the CalPATS side and your local student system side. So on the CalPATS side, you want to audit your CalPATS accounts and roles for yourself and your colleagues that will be using CalPATS, and also determine the data stakeholders you need to collaborate with, right? It's really important to do that. And we'll talk about some of these points in our strategies section also at the end of this presentation, and review the upcoming EOY changes internally. So the changes that we discussed here today, share it with other folks internally and make sure that they're aware of these changes, and build an end-of-year calendar using the EOY task list that is available for you. And it is also very important to update your student enrollment and information now, because that builds the foundation for the rest of the data that you will be submitting for end-of-year submissions. And establish an error correction strategy with your SPED coordinator. So while they are submitting your SPED data, they may come across various SPED errors in CalPATS, and they may need assistance with interpreting some of those errors or finding resources that will help them understand what those errors are. And that's where you come in to kind of guide them, especially if they're new, and help them get the resources they need to submit the SPED data successfully. And lastly, in this section, again, plan for clearing all of your data discrepancy and certification fatal errors by July 11th. On the local systems activities, verify that Human Resources Department has updated staff demographics data. So especially for LEAs that will be submitting course completion information for grades 9 through 12. This is very important. If you had any staff that came after Census Day up until the end of the year, or that they left, that information needs to be updated, because your course uses staff demographics information, which is important. And then audit your data internally to make sure the required data are populated. And some or most student information systems now have internal validations that you can run before even uploading your data to CalPATS. You want to take advantage of that and apply those validations first to your data to see how clean your data is, and fix the data before you even submit to CalPATS to avoid any validations on the CalPATS side.